Hey everyone, welcome to or back to the channel. My name is Hunter Hauk, and today's video is one that is highly requested, and it is to use the tier maker website to rank the best and worst reptile products. So in today's video, we're going to be doing that. I'm joined today by River, if she will let me pick her up. River, come on. By River, my beautiful bearded dragon, and she is going to be helping me rank these things today. Her tail is shedding, but she wanted to come out of her enclosure anyway, so I was like, hey, now's the perfect time to film this video. And before we get started, I want to say sorry for the bad lighting. As you probably know, we're moving across the country right now, and so my lighting is in a big box, so I'm using this little tiny ring light that's made for like Zoom meetings and stuff. But without further ado, I'm gonna stop rambling and start talking about the best and worst reptile products. Let's get into it. So I'm here on Tier Ranker, and I want to show you kind of what our options are first. So we have best products, then maybe products, could be great, could be not, which these are kind of like our products that, like, for some uses they're great, definitely buy them, and for other uses don't waste your money. And then we have the next product, which is similar to that, save your cash. These products, they're not going to kill your reptile, but definitely don't buy them because there are better options for either the same price or maybe just a little bit more that it's definitely worth upgrading to. And then finally, will kill your pet, which these are like, no, don't buy these. They are bad for your reptile, they will kill your reptile, so don't buy them. And we're gonna start off with, let's see here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 products, and we're gonna start off first with something kind of mediocre, and it is EcoEarth. And this, good question, what should I rank it? I'd say EcoEarth is a substrate that it definitely isn't a best product. There are products that are much better than EcoEarth, but there are also products that are a lot worse. So I'm gonna put it in the could be great, could be not, because for example, a dry habitat like a leopard gecko enclosure, EcoEarth is a big thumbs down. But for an enclosure like a crested gecko enclosure, it could be great, but it also could not be. So I think it's gonna go in our medium tier today. Now we're gonna move on to the Fluker's fake plant. It's the Fluker's Reptivine's Pothos. And I'll just say right off the bat, Pothos, I love Pothos. I have a Pothos right here on my desk. And it's my favorite type of houseplant. That's not true. It's one of my favorite types of houseplants. So fake plants that are pothos as well, those I'm also likely to enjoy. So I'm gonna say that this is gonna be best products because the Fluker's fake plants in general are always really good. And so the Fluker's Reptivine's Pothos is my favorite fake plant that I've ever purchased. So it's going in the best products category today. Now, we're gonna move on to something absolutely not good, and that is gonna be the Vita Sand, also known as Calci Sand. Basically, this is sand that pet stores oftentimes will recommend because it makes them a lot of money. And it's sand that also is made out of like calcium carbonate and different vitamins, or not vitamins, but different minerals. So the selling point is, oh, if your reptile eats it, then it's just getting lots of vitamins, but really, your reptile is going to be attracted to eat it, and that's going to cause impaction, which is where the sand and their food and stuff all get stuck in their gut and they can't digest it, and that will require your reptile to have surgery or to die. So it's going to be put in the will kill your pet section because if you don't correct it immediately, Vita Sand could kill your pet. Now we're going to move on to something mediocre, the Reptisun T5 UVB, and I'm gonna say maybe because it's definitely not a bad product, but it's also not the greatest product. If you don't have access to Arcadia UVB, then go for the Reptisun T5 linear bulbs because it's not a bad product by any means. I'd say that it's definitely one of the more awesome products on the market because UVB is something super important for bearded dragons and pretty much any other species of reptile, whether they need it or not. It's always good to provide it. Just just in case. So I would say it's going in the maybe, because it could be good or it could be great. And actually, maybe is gonna be renamed to probably, because you probably can, if I can spell it right, probably, because you probably can use it, but if you have a better option, go for the best products, which moves us into the best products, and that's the Arcadia T5 UVB. And I'd say that that is just the absolute highest quality UVB that is sold. It's kind of hard to find in America. Always check Reptile Basics, yeah, and Pangea Reptile. Those are two places where I have always had success getting my UVB from. And if it's sold out, go for the Reptisun, but I would always recommend trying to get Arcadia UVB, especially if you're in Europe, because it's easy to find in Europe. And now we're gonna move on to another will kill your pet, and that is the Reptisun, what is it called exactly? The compact bulbs, the coily bulbs for reptiles. Those UVB bulbs do not put out very much UVB at all, and they're not very accurate either because they're so compact and like concentrated that it's hard to really predict whether they're gonna put out the right amount of UVB or not. And also, your reptile has to stay in one spot to absorb the UVB if you're using one of those tiny little compact bulbs. Whereas with the linear bulb, they can get it in almost anywhere in their enclosure. So definitely put this in the will kill your pet section, or I don't know, I'm gonna put it in the save your cash section because it won't necessarily kill your pet, but it's definitely not good. So put that in the save your cash section and spend like $10 more to get the Reptisun, or another $10 more for the Arcadia. It's definitely worth it. Also, I should mention the Arcadia UVB here. These bulbs last a year, and Reptisuns are advertised to last a year, but they really only last about 6 months. So Arcadia, it's a little more expensive, but it'll save you money in the long run because you only have to replace it once a year as opposed to every 6 months. She's sitting so weird today. Girl, come here. I think she's trying to rub her tail on me because it's in shed. Alright. Next, we're gonna move on to this coconut hide, and I'm gonna put it in the save your cash section. I feel like that's one thing that a lot of people get when they're first getting a reptile, because, oh fun, coconut, that could be good or it could be not, but a lot of people think it's just fun and cute and stuff, so they buy a coconut hide for their first reptile. But the thing about these are that they mold pretty easily, so they get gross and you have to throw them away. So I would say save your cash and go for something that you can clean a little bit easier, such as the best product, Exoterra Cave Hides, I think that's what it's called. And I'd say that this is one of the best hides, especially for a standard reptile enclosure, because it's easy to clean and it looks nice. So definitely I would recommend one of these, so they're going in the best products section. I wanna mention real quick that I will have all of these products that are in the best products, probably, and could be great, could not be, linked in the description in the kit. So it'll be a link that says kit.co/something, and you can click that and it'll take you to buy those products on Amazon or maybe Petco or somewhere else that sells these products. And if you use that link, then a small percentage does come back to me, which helps me continue making these videos. So if you are gonna check out one of these products, I would definitely recommend using that link because it costs you no extra, but the companies do give me a little incentive to keep sharing those links with you, so I would really appreciate it. Okay, now we're gonna move on to the Desert Blend, which is a substrate with walnuts and other stuff like that that's just ground up, and it's supposed to look like sand, but they're like, oh, it's better for the environment because it's natural. But the thing is, it too will kill your pet. Same reasons as Vita Sand. It smells like something potentially edible because it's made out of walnuts, so your reptile's gonna be like, maybe I should try eating this. They're gonna take a mouthful, it's gonna get clogged up, and they're gonna become impacted or choke on it since it clumps together when it gets wet. And so it's something that will kill your pet as well. So don't buy this Desert Blend or Walnut Blend or whatever you want to call it. There's lots of brands of it, but avoid it, it will kill your pet. Now we're gonna move on to the Pangea hide box, and I think this is one that a lot of reptile breeders use because it's easy to clean, but it's also a little bit ugly, so I'm gonna put it in the probably section. Nope, and the could be great could not be, because in a bioactive enclosure, this would not be great. It would look ugly and ruin the whole thing. But in a standard enclosure, this can make a great humidity hide. I have one of them in my leopard gecko Pippin's enclosure right there as a humid hide. And yeah, I would definitely recommend it for a standard enclosure, but a bioactive enclosure, probably not. So could be great, could not be. Now we're gonna move on to the Pangea crested gecko diet. And a lot of you are like, Hunter, you don't have a crested gecko, so why are you talking about this? And no, I don't have a crested gecko, but I have fostered a couple of them, and this flavor is specifically what I'm talking about. The watermelon has been the absolute favorite flavor of all of the crested geckos that I've fostered, so I'm putting it in the best products section because in my experience, it's the best flavor of Pangea crested gecko diet taste-wise, not exactly nutrition-wise. You should rotate them like kind of in and out, but this is usually a favorite, so if your crested gecko is making this list, there's a good chance that they would put it up there. Thank God they don't have opposable thumbs though, because they would take over the world. Yeah. Moving on to another best product. That beautiful mug right there. That is my merch, and a shameless plug here. I just want to say, if you are interested in some really cool reptile products such as mugs, tumblers, stickers, decals, shirts, and hoodies, and phone cases like this one here, definitely head to shop.hunterhawk.com. It's also the second link in the description, and that supports the channel. It all goes into caring for my animals and helping make videos. And I have a couple designs, including the white tree frog one that you see here and the Peyton design that you see on the screen. Yeah, definitely check that out. It's a best product. Now, our last product today is Reptisafe, and if you have chlorine or chloramines in your water, it's on the best products list because you have to use it. You shouldn't give your reptile water that is not dechlorinated. It'll potentially harm your reptile, but amphibians, it will kill your amphibian to give them chlorinated water. So be very careful about that and be sure to use it. That's why it's the best product if you have chlorine. But if you don't, like if you're on well water or if your city doesn't have chlorine, I think most cities have chlorine, but if your water is like from a spring or a well and you do not have chlorine, I'm being very specific here, do more research, but then you don't need it. So I'm putting it in the probably section, but yeah, I definitely would recommend it if you have chlorine. So that was our top supplies here. We're gonna go through it one more time from the worst to the best. So worst, we have Vita Sand and Desert Blend, which are calcium sands and a walnut substrate mix, which those will kill your reptile. And the Save Your Cash are things that are potentially okay. This hide here is potentially okay, but I'd say save your cash, get something better. In this UVB here, that's something that is potentially harmful for your reptile. A bearded dragon, it would definitely develop metabolic bone disease with a light like this, so definitely save your cash and get something a bit better. Now for the could be great, could not be, that's going to be EcoEarth, which is a substrate that is coconut fiber, and I think that it can be great in a lot of instances, but it also can be less than ideal in others. So it can be great or it cannot be depending on your humidity and species. And then these hide boxes, they're great depending on just the aesthetic that you're going for in your enclosure. Now the probably section, that's the Reptisun Linear T5 because it's a great UVB if Arcadia isn't an option for you. And the Reptisafe because that is important unless your water for some reason doesn't have chlorine. Now moving on to the best products, we have the Fluker's Reptivine's Pothos, and that's just my best recommendation for fake plants. Anytime someone's like, I'm getting a new reptile, what should I put in its enclosure? I'm like, well, for starters, a Reptivine Pothos because they're the best. And then Arcadia UVB. Any animal of mine that needs UVB has Arcadia UVB because they're just the absolute best and they last a year instead of 6 months, so they save you a lot of money in the long run. And then the Exoterra Cave hides, those I would recommend as well as Watermelon Pangea Crested Gecko Diet. And if you want to support the channel, my merch from shop.hunterhawk.com. Shop Hunter Hawk is something that I put a lot of energy and my heart and soul into. So if you want to help me make more videos, I would really appreciate it if you could go grab something from shop.hunterhawk.com. I have all sorts of cool stuff. It's awesome. And yeah, I guess that kind of concludes today's video. So if you want to see my reptiles and amphibians almost every day, be sure to follow me on Instagram at HunterHawkOfficial. And I'm trying to see what else should I promote. Be sure to subscribe and like this video and comment down below how you would rank these products. Are there some of these that I put in the best products that you're like, Hunter, I hate that product, that you would put in the like save your cash section? Let me know. Or if you disagree with one of my rankings, tell me down below and we can talk about it. Once again, my name is Hunter Hawk. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you next time.